We don't want to take for granted and make, Willow a bit of a, oh, pop, Willow's here, blah, 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 and then we don't see her again for weeks. Like, Willow has the potential to be like almost like what a Bailey, a John Cena was to this company. People love Willow. She is infectious with her joy, her happiness, her smile. Like, the money is there. The rumor mill is running rampant yet again, and this time at the center of the controversy, it's none other than the beloved Willow Nightingale. Her AEW contract is up this year. Fightful Select have reported she is in her contract year and has months left on her contract. Now, it's also said that she is an absolute priority for AEW to re-sign. She's well loved, well looked after and thought of within the company, so they want to keep her in AEW, and I would bloody think so because she is brilliant. The report has also not stated if anyone else is interested. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, WWE. But of course, if she did become available, I'm sure WWE would look to scoop her up in a heartbeat. Like, Willow Nightingale is just so refreshing. I just don't know how WWE wouldn't want her if she was to become available. But the question is that I'm kind of looking at today is, why can't AEW see this? Or if AEW do see this, what are we waiting for? Like, what are we waiting for? This woman not only deserves a new contract, and for all intents and purposes, I do believe she should stay at AEW, but she needs to be pushed. She needs to be pushed all the way. By now, I would have expected Willow Nightingale to have won the TBS Championship by Mercedes Moné and kind of put a bow in that story and that feud that they have had ever since the New Japan Strong Women's title. I think that should have happened by now. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Athena might get her way in there first, and to be honest, I don't mind if Athena does, but I definitely feel that Willow should have had her turn and kind of got back in there already and freed up Mercedes Moné. But is that person the reason behind the kind of stagnant growth of Willow Nightingale? I'm talking about Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné, we know, is the absolute jewel in the crown of the AEW women's division, at least from a financial standpoint. Many would say Toni Storm is the jewel in the crown, and I wouldn't argue that either, because Toni Storm has been fantastic over the last kind of 2 years in AEW. Mercedes Moné, after a slow start, I would say she's there now. I would say Mercedes Moné is arriving at the dance and doing some fantastic in-ring work, especially when it comes to the women's division in AEW. And we are heading into All In, right? Which is a massive show. And Mercedes Moné has recently come out and said she is the Beyonce of AEW, that she wants to main event All In is what she's working for. It is their Super Bowl. Now, the biggest match that AEW can put on, as we all know, is Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Maybe in the main event, but it would be for that women's championship. That is the biggest match AEW can put on for that women's division. And arguably, especially with what's happening in the men's world title scene, people want that to be the main event. Again, let me know in the comments if you want the ladies to main event All In. Now, one of the biggest issues that has happened with the continuous excellence of Toni Storm and the ascent of Mercedes Moné getting back to where she should be, the level she should be, is that we have sacrificed building other competitors along the way. Athena is a massive example. Athena having the run of her life in Ring of Honor as the world champion, as the women's world champion. However, it has started to dwindle in terms of interest because she's beaten everyone. We know how good she is. Athena should have been moved on to AEW main roster, if you like, and should be being built as one of the next top ladies in the company. We saw a sudden shoot up the card for Megan Bayne upon her arrival. booked like an absolute beast, and she had her world title opportunity where Toni Storm basically escaped from at Dynasty and remained the champion. Megan Bayne is still in and around it, but maybe just her booking has quietened down over the last few weeks. Willow Nightingale is a name that we all believed should have been up there in lights, and we can take the scenic route with Willow Nightingale. It doesn't have to be straight to the world title, in my opinion. But that's why I say, like I said earlier in this video, I definitely would have thought she would have come back and won the TBS title from Mercedes Moné. That gives us a strong standing in the mid-card in the women's division. And then you could have Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm go after those top titles and kind of anchor that main event scene as we kind of push women up there and, you know, rotate a little system around there. But right now, it's kind of Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm in a division of their own, and the rest of these women, none of them are being built as, you know, heir to the throne or the next ones. And I just sit here and wonder, especially in a year where I don't feel like we've seen a lot of Willow Nightingale. I don't feel we've seen a lot of Willow Nightingale on AEW programming since all the Chris Statlander stuff at the height of that with Stokely Hathaway. I can't really remember like a solid run Nightingale has had in AEW since then. She has been active, she has been in Japan, she's been doing a lot of good stuff in Japan especially, but I just don't know what's been going on with her AEW booking. When are AEW going to give this woman a chance? When are they going to give the likes of a Willow Nightingale and Athena a real good run on the main shows of AEW? And like I'm saying, it doesn't have to be the world title. You have a TBS title right there. Like, that's where these women should be finding themselves and finding opportunity and really honing their craft and building relationships, forging those relationships with the audience. We don't want to take for granted and make, you know, Willow a bit of a, oh, pop, Willow's here, blah, 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 and then we don't see her again for weeks. Like, Willow has the potential to be like almost like what a Bailey, a John Cena was to this company. People love Willow. She is infectious with her joy, her happiness, her smile. Like, the money is there. Like, I don't understand what AEW are doing when it comes to not just Willow and other women in that division, like I say, but just particularly Willow and what we have with her. Like I said, I think she should stay in AEW. I think that is the best place for her, and where the best opportunity to rise and, you know, win these titles will come quicker than WWE at this current moment. But I just feel like, are we taking her for granted, or we don't know what to do with her? We are sidelining her, and ultimately, yes, we need to, you know, have this big match ahead of All In, our biggest show of the year, etc., etc. But come on. We need to be developing these other women on the roster so that we don't have to be overly reliant on a Toni Storm and a Mercedes Moné. We've got other great names here. We just need to give them something to do. So I don't think it's a thing where she's going to be like, you know, playing hardball, like, I'm going to leave because you guys aren't booking me in on anything like that. Like I said, I think AEW is the best place for her. However, with that contract renewal, there's going to be some demands. I think there definitely needs to be some demands of her usage and, you know, how much TV time she's going to get, opportunity she's going to get. Willow Nightingale isn't going to be someone that, you know, gets passed by pro wrestling. She should be someone that has accolades and championships and, you know, Hall of Fame worthy resume when it's all said and done. I believe those wins and championships should have started already, and she should be one of those top names in this division. I almost feel like Willow Nightingale should be like the Hangman Adam Page of the women's division. You know, the relatable woman that everybody loves, can get behind, even when they are a bad guy playing a heel. You can understand why, you know, because they are such a reasonable human being. AEW need to give her a chance, man. They need to give her a chance. Don't just put her under contract and then it's a bit of nothing. I think we recently saw that happen with Daniel Garcia, where it was like, oh, will he leave? Will he go to NXT or WWE? They signed him to a new contract. They gave him the TNT title. And the TNT title run was underwhelming. Can't lie. It was pretty underwhelming. The only real thing he did of note in that run was the trilogy or so with Adam Cole, which he lost. And now he's, you know, fighting fires against FTR and stuff like that. Let's not just sign these guys to contracts and sit them down or bench them or whatever you want to say. Like, Willow Nightingale is someone that should be flying the flag for AEW for years to come. across whatever, TBS title, world title. She should be winning it all. She deserves it all. AEW, book Willow Nightingale. If this video wasn't obvious enough, book Willow Nightingale, please.